What is the strongest wood joint ever created? Woodworkers have argued about this for generations. Some swear by the dovetail. Others defend the mortise and tenon. Some believe modern joinery methods outperform traditional techniques. But today, we're settling the debate. Not with opinions. Not with theories. And definitely not with internet comments. We're going to destroy 10 different wood joints and find out which one survives the longest. Every joint will face the same test. The same wood. The same dimensions. The same glue. And the same brutal punishment. By the end of this video, only one joint will remain undefeated. And honestly, the winner surprised me. Before we start breaking things, let's meet the competitors. We have some of the most popular joints in woodworking. The butt joint. The pocket hole joint. The dowel joint. The biscuit joint. The lap joint. The box joint. The finger joint. The dovetail. The mortise and tenon. And one additional contender that many woodworkers consider nearly unbeatable. Each joint was carefully built using the same wood species and identical stock dimensions. I wanted this test to be fair. Because if we're going to crown a champion, every joint deserves the same opportunity to prove itself. Now, before the destruction begins, I want you to make a prediction. Which joint do you think will win? Pause for a second and leave your guess in the comments. I'm curious how many people get this right. Let's begin with the first round. The butt joint. Probably the most common woodworking joint in existence. Simple. Fast. Easy. And unfortunately, not exactly famous for strength. As the force increased, it didn't take long before the joint showed signs of weakness. A few more seconds, and it failed completely. Not exactly a shocking result. But that's why we're testing. Next came the pocket hole joint. A favorite among many DIY builders. Fast to assemble. Strong enough for many projects. And much more capable than the butt joint. This time the joint survived noticeably longer. The screws definitely helped. But eventually, the pressure became too much. And once again, we had our answer. As we moved through the early rounds, something became obvious. Some joints looked strong. Others actually were strong. And those aren't always the same thing. The dowel joint performed better than many people expect. The biscuit joint produced mixed results. And one of the supposedly strong joints disappointed me almost immediately. At this point, the competition was becoming interesting. Because several favorites had already been eliminated. And a few underdogs were quietly outperforming expectations. Then we reached the middle of the competition. This is where things got serious. Because now we were testing joints that woodworkers trust for furniture, cabinetry, and structural strength. The lap joint delivered an impressive performance. The box joint surprised me, and the finger joint held on much longer than I expected. Each round required more force, more pressure, and more patience. The failures became increasingly dramatic. Instead of joints simply separating, we started seeing wood fibers tear apart. And that's important. Because once the wood itself starts failing, you're no longer just testing the joint. You're testing the limits of the material. And that's exactly where the competition became fascinating. Because the remaining joints were no longer failing easily. In fact, one of them appeared almost impossible to break. At least, that's what I thought. Then came the most famous contender of them all, the dovetail. And what happened next completely changed the rankings.